Hello, welcome back. I'm Tiam Seng, your trainer. Let's do more joints. For the first connection, we do the curved beam to the main structure connection. We want to use the moment end plate. The moment end plate is found in the platform beams palette. We select the column and then the curved beam. In the Properties dialog, we modified the plate properties. We modified the horizontal bolt properties. You will notice the connection updates as we change the properties. If your system is not updating quick enough, you can disable the automatic update and explicitly select update at the end of all your modification. The first connection is completed. Let's select the Copy from Template in the Advanced Tool palette to copy the connection to the other end of the curved beam. We select the column at the other end and the beam at the other end. That doesn't seem to look correct. Let's use the advanced joint properties. And we can go to the horizontal bolts and change the offset from positive to negative. That's it, we've finished our first set of connections. The next connection is a double side end plates with safety bolts. These will connect the column to the two beams. We select the column and then we select the two connecting beams. We will now continue to modify the properties for the joints. Let's continue by copying this joint to another location. We use the copy joint from the Advanced Tool palette. We select the column and the two beams at the new location. We will use the advanced properties to change the properties of this connection. We will now use the copy multiple to copy these joints to other locations in the structure. We will first select all the columns that we want to copy this joint to, and then we select the first beam, and then lastly we select the second beam. You can see that multiple connections are now created. Next, we are going to create gable wall end plates. This time, I'm going to use the Project Explorer and recall the gable wall model view that I have created previously. Well, let's zoom in a little. Let's choose another palette, the columns to beam palette, and we will find our gable wall end plate. This time, we will first select the rafter and then the column. You will notice that some of the fields are grayed out and cannot be used. This is dependent on the plate layout that you choose. We use the copy joint to copy the gable end plate to the other location. Next, we will create front plate splices at the two splitting points. We select the beam-to-beam connection palette and select the end plate splice. We select the first beam followed by the second beam. For each connection, besides the ability to change the parameters, there are also different configurations for the same type of connection. If you have been following along, you know that we are going to copy this joint to another location. Let's recall the full model by switching off the gable wall model view. Let's recall another view called creep angle. This gives us a clearer view of the working area. Let's select the creep angle connection to create this joint. We select the column followed by the beam to create the connection. Let's switch off the creep angle and we will copy this connection to the other locations again. Let's do the angle creep connection. You can see that there are a large amount of parameters that you can change for each connection. Most of the time, you are able to model what you need by changing these parameters. I'm actually looking at the standard drawing as I continue to update the parameters. This time we use the copy to multiple joints. We will be selecting the two columns and the beams that are connected to the columns. Let's zoom in and you can see all the joints are now created. Next, we look at creating a connection when the beams and columns are not perpendicular. This is the crib angle skewed joint. This connection doesn't look right. We can correct it by modifying the parameter for the connection. For this case, it should be connected on the other side. Here we start to input the parameters again following our standard drawings. This time I'm going to go a little bit slower so that all of you can actually follow the actual values that I key in. Finally, the last parameters to key in. Once we have set the connection correctly, we can copy the connection to the other location. Remember the first issue that we have? We use the same method to correct the problem with the copied joint. Now let us tackle the connection for the purlins. Now let us use feature to create connection between the purlin and the curved beam. We also create the weld size for the welding between the purlin and the beam. Let us continue creating a purlin connection. We select the beam and then we select the purlin that is on the beam. Once the connection is done for one connection, we copy to the rest of the purlin. Next, we will do flat bracing with tension bolt for the base plate. You can see that there are quite a few connections for bracing in advanced tier. For this connection, we will select three objects of different type: the column, the base plate, and the bracing. Again, we follow the standard drawings to create the correct configuration. We will now do the copy. We choose another connection type for the bracing at the beam. This time, instead of selecting the base plate for the second object, we select the beam. Lastly, we will do the connection for the intersection of the two bracing. For the other bracing, we will be using tube connections. Let me quickly go through the standards and finish this last bracing. That's the last joint and the last parameter to modify. This brings the end of the lesson on joints. See you again next time. Bye.